Marriage-based green card cases are getting harder. What does that mean? Well, if you're an immigrant and you're married to a US citizen or LPR, you can file to adjust your status. Somewhere along the way, you're going to get called for an interview. These interviews are getting a lot harder than they've ever been. Typically in the past, from what I've seen, is that the officer will bring you into their office and start asking you questions about your relationship, at which point that's when you get to tell your story, right? This is how we met, this is where we went for our first date, this is when we got married, etc. Now it's different. So when you go to the interview, first of all, everyone's getting an interview now. There's no more of the skipping the interviews. But when you go, the officers, a lot of them are only asking you a couple questions like, okay, what's your name? Where do you live? When did you meet? When did you get married? And then they say, okay, prove to me that this relationship is real. And what they mean is they want to see what's called bona fides. So bona fides just mean evidence of a bona fide marriage. And what they're really after is the timeline of your relationship. So they want to see the evidence from the day basically that you started dating until today, the day of the interview. Because a lot of people, what they do is once they file their application, they stop collecting evidence. These officers want you to bring more evidence, more bona fides to the interview because they want you to be able to show the timeline of your relationship. So what are some examples? Everybody thinks like, okay, let me bring a lease. Let me bring an electric bill, both of our names on it. That's good. But a lot of times the officers will say, well, that's great, but I could add you to my electric bill if I wanted to. That doesn't mean anything. So what they're after is they want to see photos, but also with the photo, they want to see the proof. So for example, say you went to a comedy club with your husband or wife, and you had to buy tickets online, and both of those tickets are in your name, so you have the ticket as proof, and then you also took a photo. That's great because now we can prove exactly when that photo was taken and that you did it together. Say you went to Disney World. You have the tickets from Disney World, maybe the airline ticket, and then the photo. So those three go together. And so we're using these chronologically to show the timeline. And this is the one thing that a lot of people don't necessarily put a lot of effort into because everyone says like, oh, I'm not worried. My relationship's real. That's probably true. Your relationship probably is real. But are you going to get the opportunity to prove that to the officer? So you have to make sure you show up at that interview with a lot more evidence than what you submitted and evidence of what you've been doing since you filed the application. That's how you get an approval at the interview. So if you have an interview coming up and you want me to review your case with you,